Welcome back to the Marianne Hickman Show, and this is talk tip number 15. How do I handle stage fright during a presentation? Check it out. So how do I handle stage fright during a presentation? Well, I got news for you, and you probably already know this. It starts backstage. It starts in prep. A lot of your stage fright will completely go away because you have preparation under your belt. If you even want to go to the scriptures, it says, if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. In other words, the more time you practice, the less need there is for stage fright because you know your content, you know what works, and you know how to present it to the audience. Now, what happens when, let's just say you get asked to be on a really cool podcast, maybe one of your dream stages lands in your lap, or not just lands in your lap, but you've been hustling and you've been working and you've been applying for it and you finally get that dream stage, or maybe it's just the next stage or your first stage or a stage that you've spent time and money and airline tickets and babysitters on doing, and you're like, I don't want to mess this up. Oh, I get it. Stage fright can be crippling, which is why the stage is the most scary place on the planet. It's the number one fear in the world because of the fear of failure. That big, ugly F word, F-E-A-R, that fear is so prohibitive. Friends, don't take advice from fear. It doesn't have any good advice to give. Don't take advice from fear. We freaking ride that fear, just like they say in that Twisters movie. So let's talk about, first of all, how to eliminate it backstage before the event. Number one is to have a backstage routine. I don't know if you know this, but I have a secret weapon in my phone with a badass playlist. I have a Spotify playlist that I pulled up, and I have all these songs that just get me in my groove, and I don't listen to these songs at any other time. Just ask Richard. If you hear me playing the song, it's because it is almost a hypnotic trigger for me to where I'm in the zone, I'm ready to be amped up, I'm about to go up and serve the audience, and I'm going to bring everything I have in terms of energy to the table and just lay it out into the audience. So give yourself this little hack of getting yourself a playlist that you can just plug into your ears before you go on stage. The other little tip I do backstage is to get physical. Joseph McClendon, he bounces up and down on a trampoline. I have a little high five that I give myself before I get out there. I give my little shake and I shake my body out. And before I get on stage, I close my eyes and I take a deep breath in and get super present. Anxiety is just putting a negative outcome on the future. Okay? Depression is just putting a negative outcome on the past and letting that demon in. When you get present, it eliminates both of those things. So by taking a deep breath, getting present, and then use these words, you can steal mine. I'm here to serve. And I even say a prayer. God, help me give these people exactly what they need. Help me deliver the message that the people who came here prayed to hear, because people came to the event hoping for an answer. I don't know anyone that goes to an event just for the fun of it. They're always looking for something, and I want to give them what they came for. So now you've got your backstage routine, and it's time to get on stage. Now, stage fright can creep in if you're not careful. Remember what I've said before, stage fright is inherently selfish. What about me? What if my microphone pack falls off? What if I slip on stage? And what if I fall off the stage? What if I forget my train of thought and I can't think of my words and whatever all it is? That's all about me, 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 me. It's very, very selfish to think this way. Instead, how can I serve my audience? Even if those things happen, can I tell you a story? I got to tell you the story. I usually tell this just in private rooms, but I'm about to tell the world right now. This was years ago, and I had 5 kids at the time, and I was supposed to lead what's called a power hour from the stage, which meant like some deep meditative moments that were like a guided meditation, and then I was going to get the audience up and moving and exercising, and my favorite way to do that was to have the audience do 100 jumping jacks. Now, it's a recipe for disaster. If your pelvic floor has delivered 5 babies and you drink 2 liters, that's a lot of tea. It doesn't matter how many bathroom breaks. If you chug 2 liters right before you get on stage, your bladder's going to be full. That plus 100 jumping jacks plus delivering 5 babies, it leads to peeing your pants. It just does. And about jumping jack 60, 70, I'm up there. I start to feel it and there's nothing stopping it. The gravity is taken over, and I totally peed my pants on stage. And I had 20 minutes left of that signature keynote, and there was nothing I could do. What am I supposed to do? Say, excuse me, guys, I just peed myself. I got to get off stage. Sorry, blah, blah, blah. No, what I did, I just kept going. I stayed back from the audience because I was like, I don't want them to smell this. So I kept a distance between me and the front row. And I kept going, and thank goodness my pants were dark enough that I hope it covered it. I don't even care if it did. I have not yet heard from an audience member that they know about this, even though I've kind of told the world already. But even so, the point of this is that I'm going to serve the audience. I'm not there for me. I already did everything it took to get on stage. So I'm not there for me anymore. So maybe you're not going to pee your pants on stage. I don't wish that on anybody, but maybe more likely you're like, oh shoot, I forgot my lines. Oh shoot, what do I do? The best thing you can do to eliminate stage fright on stage is to forget yourself and go to work. If you're having trouble collecting your thoughts, leverage the tool of silence. Get back on your train of thought. It's okay to be quiet on stage. It's actually very impactful for the audience. If you make a mistake on stage, like you trip, roll with it. Do what every improv comedian does and build it in. Make it part of your presentation. Every single one of us is human. Every single one of us is going to make mistakes. And when you don't feel embarrassed by it, it actually brings you closer to your audience. Grant Cardone said this. He says, nothing anyone can say to or about me embarrasses me because I own everything that I've ever done. And that's a powerful thing. When you can own your humanity, own your mistakes and say, yep, that happened, so what? You get all of your power back. Thanks for being here on our talk tips. I'll see you in the next episode.
Marianne Hickman here again. Listen, I hope super helpful for you. Maybe you'll learn something new. Share with me in the comments what was valuable. Or if you have this whole separate question like, hey, I wanted to know about this. I wanted to know about stage fright. I want to know how about my presentation on stage. I want to know about how to dress on stage. Anything that you want to know that's relevant to growing your business through stages, put in the questions. Because guess what? I go through and answer all of those personally. That's not an agency or a VA. That's me going through and looking at your questions because you are who I am here for. So last thing is I want you to get this database. If you haven't gotten it already, now I've got thousands of downloads on this thing, so maybe you've got it, but if not, make sure you go to mariannehickman.com/database. What that's going to do is take you to a page. You're going to input all of your information. We're going to send the database to you. You're going to request access to it. I keep it locked down so I can make sure I get it to just the right people. And you're going to request access. And then once you have that, you're going to go through and apply to podcasts that have the topic that you'd be an expert speaking on. Here's the thing. I get this database updated twice a week. So there's always new stuff in there. And if you're a podcaster, there's even a list of guests that you can have on your show on that podcast. Maybe you end up doing a podcast swap and you grow your audience that way. Regardless, I want you to get it. So mariannehickman.com/database, and we'll see you in the next Talk Tips.